So hello everyone, welcome back to GPRL Season 5. This time we're here for round number 15. We are round number 15. Round number 16, sorry, of the championship. Here in Sochi, Russia. There's my voice. You can see on the formation lap. Marcos leading the way, he put it on pole. It was provisionally a Haas 1-2 before Felix, and the Alfa Romeo stopped Marcos, or stopped Zef, sorry. Zef with a very impressive qualifying over in P3, Jarno P4, a good job from himself. You see all the drivers on the soft tyres other than Dylan, only 6th, Yannick 10th, and Luke from the back of the grid. Anyway, we're now here, we've got all drivers on the grid. As now they wait. Marcos on pole position yet again for a 6th time this season, I believe. Dylan now out of the session. That could be a problem for him, but it's 5 red lights. It's lights out and away we go here in Sochi. Seemed to be a pretty clean start from both of the pole sitters now. Can Zef duck into the slipstream and make a double move on his teammate and Felix? Felix is down the inside, looks to be a little bit of contact. Zef maybe looking for a bit of a dive bomb. Felix though, up into the lead of the race temporarily though as Zef goes round spinning. Marcos and Felix are side by side. Felix is up into the lead of this race. Meanwhile, a little bit further back we got Jarno up into P3, and there's a lot of squirming about, as Sam, the reserve in the Red Bull, up to 6th. Luke is already out of the session. We got Hans. Here's Sam being squeezed out by Marine. Marine needs a good finish today, or else he'll be out of championship contention. I believe there may be some damage on the front wing of that Red Bull, as Luke retired and out of the session now. Meanwhile, Marine making a move on Hans, who had a cracking start up to 5th, was 3rd at one point, but he's gone, thank you very much. Marine up into 4th, very important move that is for him. Remember, Felix can, I don't think he can win the title today, but he can definitely put a lot of pressure, and Marine can drop out of contention if he's not careful, so he's got to be watching that. There goes Sam with a move on Hans. Seems to be a little bit of contact. They're side by side though, pretty fair but edgy racing. A bit further back we got almost 3 wide there. There's damage there with the Red Bull. I'm not sure if Sam has knocked off more front wing. By the way that car's turning, I would imagine so. Toying up to 6th now. I'm going to look at Sam, see if we can get a shot of that front wing as we go down the main straight now. It doesn't look too damaged if there is any damage there, so he might have escaped. A little bit further back there's a bit of battling between these two drivers on board with Salim now in the Toro Rosso. Scored more points last time out. Now he's going to send one to the inside of Yannick. A very good move there from the Toro Rosso driver, moving himself up into P10 and a points paying position. So very, very strong there from Salim on the soft tyres. Slightly further forward though, got Marine who's right on the back of Jarno. Jarno going a little bit wide. And Marine looking very strong. Felix outscores Marine by 16 points today. He is the champion. Marine with a really nice little move there. Jarno seemingly really struggling on those soft tyres, and Marine with a little over and under up into 3rd position, nice and easy. Jarno struggles, so he's now got about 3 seconds to the car ahead. Can he catch that? It'll be very interesting to see. It's been a relatively clean race so far for Marine. He needs to outscore Felix today if he wants any chance to win the title. As Dylan now back in the session. Meanwhile, we've got a bit more moving about. There's Sam off the track. He's turned around. Looked like even more damage to the front wing there. And he'll have to box. And I assume he will be. He's not coming in actually. So I assume there was some form of contact. Jarno in the pit, Zef in the pit, so maybe there was contact there. With Jarno now. Actually Yannick, sorry. Constantly getting those two confused. Yannick is very close now to Salim. He's going to pull out, and where Salim made the move on him, Salim though very strong on the brakes though, goes all the way around the outside off the track there, so has to give that position back. Salim looks quite punchy today though. and up in 8th position. He's got a good chance of scoring some points. Hopefully I haven't just jinxed that. As DRS is now enabled on lap number 3. Let's go back to the lead fight. Marcos right in the wheel tracks of Felix. Felix got ahead at the start, but with DRS now I can imagine be a relatively easy move for the Haas driver. Bear in mind, Marcos is Felix's closest rival in the championship. If he wants any decent chance of winning the title, he's going to have to overtake him today and win the race. However, I don't think he's quite got the punch on the straight line. You can see his steering wheel there in non-ERS, so clearly not pushing too hard. And he's quite happy to sit behind Felix at least until the next DRS zone of the main straight. Marcos showing a lot of pace. I'm very impressed. Come to expect this of Marcos in Season 5 now. His 3rd season with GPRL. Can he win the title? Just missed out in Season 4. But here we go. He's got overtake mode enabled. DRS enabled now. Down the main straight. DRS open. It's going to be a fairly easy move for the Haas driver. He moves up into the lead. There's not much Felix can do about that. He's just got to sit back and try and do the same to Marcos. Not let Marcos break that 1 second gap. Because if he does, he may run off with it into the distance. A little bit further back we got battling between Hans and Toyn. Toyn was ahead of Hans. However, they've switched around again. Hans with a very strong race currently. Up in P form, very impressed considering his best finish before now is just 10th position. Very impressive job so far from Hans. Hopefully I'm not jinxing it. Meanwhile, here's Dylan finally back in the session. Got a lot of ground to make up. Hans gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. Yeah, I'm not sure how much time Dylan's got to make up. It's about 3 seconds to the car ahead. So he's going to be quite a busy man if he wants any good points today. But it's doable. Meanwhile, here's Salim. Again on the back of Yannick. Yannick not able to really break away. He's late on the brakes. There's contact. There was the ever so slight little bit of contact and Salim spun round. And that's a real shame. I'm not sure what was going on there with the detection system. But it shows how easy it is to make a mistake. Meanwhile, back on board with this fight, Felix in the DRS. You can see on the steering wheel, no ERS used though. So he's quite happy to sit behind. Meanwhile, whilst all this is happening, he is pulling a gap to Marine, his teammate, so maybe just trying to get that buffer. Meanwhile, Hans not able to get back past Toyn. It looks like Toyn will go and extend that gap now. Just a polite reminder, all of the top 6 on the soft tyre. 7th and 8th is Yannick and Dylan, who both qualified on the medium tyre. They will be going for an easy one-stop. I'd imagine everyone else will be on an easy one-stop, because the tyre wear around the Sochi Autodrome is not too heavy at all. Back on board with Felix now, in the DRS. He's closing on Marcos, but I don't think he's going to be close enough as he comes to the end of the straight. It's getting slightly darker here in Sochi. Whether that means rain's on the cards, yet to be seen. Felix with a lot of ERS to play with. That's going to help him out. He will have DRS. Will he want to pass Marcos there? You see the last 2 laps, I don't think he's been too willing to do so. However, he's got to be careful that he doesn't let Marcos run away with it. Because if he does, we know how good Marcos is out in the lead. But Felix at the moment quite happy with P2 pulling a gap still to Marine. To be honest, at the moment, this is all he needs. This is all Felix needs in order to keep the championship in his hands. He can't win it today, but he can put a hand on the touch. You can see Marcos lagging around a bit there. Hopefully that's not going to be something that's going to affect his race. because I do think it would be a good battle if Felix picks up a 3-second time penalty. That's what he didn't need, if I'm honest. So now he's got to be a little bit more aggressive, try and push Marcos into a mistake so he picks up a time penalty of his own. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, looks like Dylan has now caught up to the back of Yannick. Yannick standing in as a reserve today for McLaren, back to his roots, back from season 3. Here goes Dylan, DRS activated. Surprisingly little ERS for the Williams driver, but he's going to make good use of the tools he has. He's going to go round the outside into the hairpin. They're side by side on the exit, but Dylan squeezes through it. Excellent racing from both drivers there. But it looks like Dylan is going to have that position on Yannick as they go up the hill. Awesome driving. Awesome respect from both drivers. Dylan with a slightly slow exit though. He's going to have to defend into the final corner. However, Yannick, if he gets a decent exit, he should have a pretty easy move on the Williams driver. And both these drivers started on the medium tyre. Both currently looking good for points. Is it going to be enough for Yannick? I don't quite think he's close enough. He's not. He'd have to sit behind Dylan and try and keep with him. But we know with the pace of Dylan, I can imagine he'll be closing up to the likes of Lucas very soon. Meanwhile, we go back to Marine in a little bit of no man's land. He's got 6 seconds to the car ahead and 6 seconds to the car behind. So it's very lonely at the moment for Marine, but if he keeps it consistent, he has every chance of winning this race. Anything can happen in GPRL. We could get a safety car. The leaders could collide. How awesome would that be? But it stays as it has been for a number of laps now. Marcos ahead of Felix. Gap not really growing, not really shrinking. Pretty sure Felix is happy with the gap as it is. As mentioned previously though, it is darkening around the Sochi Autodrome. So how much of an effect will that have on tyres, and will it start to rain? Felix is pretty close now. I'm not sure if he's had the hurry up message, or it's just Marcos having a weaker final sector, sorry. Felix though, no crazy moves. I think Felix is very aware of his current championship position. Meanwhile, here's Dylan, back on board with him. He's got DRS on Lucas, and he's really closing up to that McLaren in the slipstream now. He's thinking about sending one down the inside, can't quite make it work. It's going to be at this point where Dylan will be one of the faster cars on track due to his tyre choice. You can see Lucas going very wide there. I'm pretty sure he just let the Williams driver through. See a little bit of end plate damage to that McLaren on the front left. So probably a smart move for Lucas to just let Dylan in the Williams go, and he can go after Hans. And I assume he'll be with them very, very shortly. Hans picks up a time penalty. Felix again in the slipstream. He's getting really close to Marcos now, but not close enough in the braking zones to make a move. Haven't had any reports from the drivers about weather, so really I'm going into this blind. Usually I get someone telling me if it's going to rain or not. Oh, slightly deep there, noticed from Dylan. Dylan will be racing next season in GPRL, and with the pace that he's shown, not just today, but over his last couple of races, 3-time race winner in GPRL, he won his first 2 races back to back. He's definitely a championship protagonist, and I think it's fair to say a podium is not out of his reaches today. It'd be quite a task, but it's doable. Doable for Dylan. He's really closing in on Hans now. I imagine he'll have DRS this time around on the back straight. I can imagine that would be an easy move if he doesn't pull a move already. And I can't imagine it be long until the soft runners start to pit. Imagine the pit window would be around lap 11. Dylan's really all over the back of Hans now. Hans covers the inside into the right-hander, but that's a really easy move from Dylan on the fresher tyres. And for good measure, he's going to have DRS on the exit, so that really will help him push away. Meanwhile, here's Jarno. Already stopped in this race. I'd imagine he's on a 2-stop, because I doubt those tyres will last to the end. And here we go on the back straight, about half a second gap to Salim, who hasn't stopped. Meanwhile, both Marcos and Felix are in the pits. There goes Jarno round the outside, turns to the inside for the hairpin. Good move there from Jarno, moves himself up into 10th. Marcos out ahead of Felix, so order stays as it is. Marine now up into the lead. We got Lucas in the pits also, so has Hans. Sam continuing in the Red Bull. He's going very wide there, Sam. Not coming out in any traffic there. And it's going to be quite important now. Felix lost a little bit of time in that pit stop window. It's going to be important now for these drivers to put in consistent lap times and get through the traffic nice and quickly. Talking about getting through the traffic quickly, here's Dylan already on the back of Toyn, who hasn't stopped yet. DRS activated, or he will have DRS. Toyn pulls off to the right, trying to break the toe. I think at the end of the day he's just lifted off there and let the Williams coast through. Smart move from the Red Bull, because he would have just lost time battling it. He wouldn't have won with his softer, more worn tyres. So now Dylan can get up the road. Here comes Marine into the box. Gets it stopped all nicely. I highly doubt he'll be up there with Marcos or Felix. Meanwhile, Marcos has got past Yannick. Felix has not. So, yeah, Felix could do a dispatching of the McLaren this lap with all the pit stops. Dylan is up into the lead of this race. He'll be going long. There's Felix breezing past the McLaren up into P3, effective P2 when everyone stops. He really needs to get his foot down now. Here's Marine coming up just ahead of Sam. There's only 2 drivers on the track yet to pit. That's Sam and Salim. Salim up in P8 currently. Still got to do a stop, but if things go his way, he should be on for some points. Meanwhile, here's Lucas in the McLaren. I believe had some contact earlier which dropped him down, but he's on the back of Zeph now, who struggled today in the race after qualifying 3rd. His career best in GPRL. He struggled, and now he's on the verge of becoming last of the 13 drivers, with 12 drivers left in this session. If Lucas can keep it quite tight, I'd imagine he'd have this move down the back straight. Here goes Jarno, yet again, this time on the inside. There's a bit of contact there with Sams. That was somewhat aggressive from the Mercedes driver. Apologies for that brief intermittence. Come back about a lap later. Felix still behind Marcos. He has closed that gap. The Alfa Romeo maybe slightly stronger on those medium tyres. Will he finally go for the move, or will he stay behind? Yet to be seen. First of all, welcome everyone on the stream. DRS activated, a strong exit for Marcus though, he's sort of blitzed it off. And he keeps the position. Meanwhile, surprisingly, Marcus isn't zooming. Zooming, is that a word? He isn't zooming up to Dylan ahead. He's closing, but not anywhere as quick as I imagined, so maybe a bit of time management coming in from the Haas driver. I'm really surprised and really impressed with how close these two can race to each other. And how close they've been all day and evening. Qualifying, the gap was very close. And really throughout the season, Felix has had, I think he'll say it himself, his best season in GPRL. And I don't want to be calling any shots, but it does look like it's going to be Felix's title to lose. I believe he's got about I will check the standings now, but I believe it's around a 20-point gap to Marcos, who has a couple of points on Marine. So yet again, Marcos, strong update, very strong update. Not update, exit I should say. Just read the word update. So yeah, Felix has, he's still closing in, not making the move now. He's quite happy sitting behind for the time being. Anyway, yeah, Felix has 15 points. There's a yellow flag in Sector 2 and Sector 3. Maybe because of Sam, I'm not sure if that happened whilst I was gone. Oh, is that Marine's off? Is he in the wall? I think he might have gone in the wall. He has gone in the wall. I have no idea what's happened there. But that could be his championship blown out of the waters. He needs 10th today with an extra pit stop. If he pits now, he will come out in 10th position. There's a virtual safety car now, I believe for debris from Marine. So that may benefit him if it stays out. But that will happen very quickly. So back to the, yeah, so Felix has 15 points on Marcus, that's one race win. And then there's another 4 points back, so 19 points to Marine. So it's all to play for in the final 3 rounds of the championship, 2 after this one. DRS now enabled, we're back to it. Very quick virtual safety car period, not what Marine wanted or needed. But it's a very good restart from Felix. He's got his tyres fired up, and now in the DRS he has the opportunity if he wants to go for it. Does he want to go for it? He's closing all the time on Marcus. He's close enough to even go for a move, but backs out of it. He's happy where he is. Jarno coming through now, should be on the podium. He is. As there's Dylan coming out just behind Jarno. However, there's not going to be a big gap there at all. Dylan can jump Steve today if he scores 1 point. Steve not racing full racing point today, so he should be doing so. Yannick exiting the pits now, just ahead of his McLaren teammate. Meanwhile, there's Marine coming out P10. We're only just exiting the pits now. He's not going to be a million miles ahead of Salim either. So it's not been an incredible race for Marine, and I don't think he's going to have the chance in the final round of the season should it go down to that. to challenge for the title. As great as it would be to see a three-way title fight, it's going to be Marcos and Felix, I'd imagine. Meanwhile, there's Dylan already making a move. And up to third position has been a really strong drive today from Dylan. He's got 18 seconds to the next car. I doubt he'll be able to pull that in a little over 11 laps. He'll give it a go though. I know Dylan will give it a go. I'm sure he'll be pushing for the fastest lap point. And how much does Felix want to sit back now? Because remember, he does have that 3-second time penalty, which will impact him. Now Jarno pits, so Jarno, I did forget, still has to pit. I assume he'll be going for a set of soft tyres now. Yeah, he will. Easy into the box. 4 tyres off, 4 tyres on, off we go. Good stop there from the Mercedes crew. He should exit around about P9, I'd imagine. There he is out the pits. He should be pretty safe. He will be safe to Moran. So no problems there. So Jarno, just like Moran, needs to get his head down now and push on. I'm not pushing on. His Hans, who's really close to Yannick, who's just stopped for the soft tyre. Yannick picks up a 3-second time penalty there. Quite easy to pick up time penalties here at Russia. I've just noticed Dylan has taken 2 seconds already out of Felix, so if he takes 2 seconds a lap, he'll be with them in 8 laps. So maybe it's not all over. Maybe Dylan will make a charge, and if he does, I think it will be one of the drives of GPRL history. I don't want to get hopes too high about it because his tyres will degrade, but how awesome would that be to see Dylan come from, you know, disconnecting on lap 1 to winning the race in an awesome contra strategy. We're going to focus on this battle for the lead though. Here's the fastest lap of 33.6 from Dylan. A very, very strong lap, and I believe, yes, the only driver to break into the 33s, and not only that, the only driver to go past the 34s. We've got no other driver in the 1-minute 34s right now, and Dylan's just dipped his toes into a 1:33.6, a very strong lap, and I don't think that will be challenged for the rest of the day. Felix now starting to up the pressure. He can't sit here for too long. Can't imagine the DCA will be helping his tyres. I don't know how much it's impacting him. But he's really happy at the moment with just sitting behind. I think his worry is Marcos staying in the DRS and getting him the following lap. But, you know, if he still has that 3 seconds time penalty, he can't make a move on the last lap and then expect to run away with it. Felix might have to get a little bit creative with his moves. Doesn't look like there's going to be any moving about there. It's a bit further back. Looks like Lucas closing in somewhat on the Mercedes of Haddons, who's having a really strong race today. He is on for his best finish in GPRL history. In his GPRL career, I should say. Over Lucas. Always a consistent driver, always scoring points here and there. Defending the inside hands. Very defensive line that is going to give Lucas the cut back. Here we go, bit of a squeeze to the inside line, down the inside goes Lucas. Hans though, able to hold it around the outside. Back on the power, Hans stays ahead. Very strong drive so far from Hans, someone he wasn't able to produce in the Williams. Still defending the inside line. Lucas going to go around the outside though. He could have very easily just sat back and waited for the DRS to be activated and breeze past. He's going to do that, but he went around the hard way. And up into P6 goes Lucas. Can Hans stay with him now though, and subsequently get the DRS down the main straight? It'll be very important to stick behind. It's very hard to stick behind. Lucas got a big snap of oversteer. The left hand hairpin. Final corner, small lock up from Hans, but no dramas, and amid a bit of lag, should be a pretty easy move as Lucas covers the inside line. But here goes Hans around the outside. Lucas going to go down the inside. He's going to outbrake himself though. He's going to go off the track, and when he comes back on ahead of Hans. However, he will have to give that place back, and he should pull over to the side now. I'm not sure if the game's going to be given that as an illegal overtake or not. Personally, I'd score it as one. However, things stay as they are. Here's Jana. Now he's caught the back of the first of the drivers. He's got 13 lap, 2 steps softer tyres. Does Jana. He's going to have to wait for the DRS zone. He goes back on the power now. It's like Toyn and Yannick having a bit of a battle. As Yannick off the track. His front wing seems to be all fine, so there shouldn't be a problem. There goes Jarno on Zef, down the inside, sorry I should say. Jarno up into P8, and very good job from himself there. He's going to be happy to move on. Jesus, we've got a lot of lag going on with Jarno's car as we enter the final couple of corners. Jarno's close behind his teammate now. His teammate Hans, I believe, has held on for the DRS. Is he close enough now to have a move? He's not. He's going to have to wait behind. Personally, I think I do think Lucas should have given that place back following the little incident with the corner cut, but yeah, we'll look at it after the race. Meanwhile, Yana, he's got that little glitch with his engine. Still on the back. I assume he'll be making a move on his teammate very soon as he picks up a 3-second time penalty for cutting the course. He's really close to Hans now. So go through the middle sector. His fresher tyres paying dividends now. Down the inside, Jano, he had a look. Couldn't make it work though. As here's the DRS. And I imagine here is the move. Hans covers the inside, not waving his teammate through. But Jano goes through. So thank you very much. And up into P7. P6 of Lucas is just up the road with his fresher tyres. I'd imagine he will be catching the DRS down the main straight. Got a yellow flag in sector 1. Is someone round? I believe not, but here's Yannick right on the back of Toyn, down the inside of turn number 1. You don't usually see someone going for a move that early, but there goes Yannick up into P4, not waiting around, and Yannick having a strong race yet again. There's Jano now also going past him there. Zef might be making a move. There's moves going off left, right and centre. Down the inside goes the Haas driver. Looks just up into P8 he's going to get. There's a little bit of contact there, which may have forced him ever so slightly off the track. But Hans now went from 6th down to 9th in the space of a couple of corners. Trying to make up a position now. Down the inside goes the Mercedes. Can't quite make it work there. Locks up and it goes slightly off the track for his troubles. Still very close behind the Haas driver though. A little bit of contact there, and it looks like Hans is going to have to settle for P9 for the time being. He goes off the track there, trying to chase down Zef. The dirty air really does wash you wide, sorry. Saying that he should be close enough on this set of tyres as well for some DRS. Here he goes, closing up. Meanwhile, Dylan pits. That's where all the. I think there was some contact there between Zeph and Hans has got some front wing damage, which is going to force him down. Definitely past Marine. Yeah, Dylan pits weirdly, and that's for a new nose cone. So he must have bashed it somewhere. That must have been why there was a yellow flag in Sector 1. So Dylan now is going to drop, I'd imagine, down to like P7. It could be even further. So that's really damaged his chances, and if I'm honest, I think he could have just stayed out and lived with the damage. Here he comes out, down side by side with Zeph. He's going to get that move. So he's got a mission and a half now to close up. Meanwhile, talking about closing up, there's Felix is really close to Marcos now. Finally, is he starting to turn up the wick and actually go for it? Just 5 laps left in this race. Remember, he does have 5 seconds more worth of time penalties than 3 seconds more worth of time penalties. Dylan now has left the session. I have to try get him an invite in just a moment. Here comes Felix though. Not the strongest of exits out the final corner, and he's not going to be close enough to Marcos to make a move. And I can't invite Dylan back, so my apologies for that one. Now Dylan's disconnected. He's going to be dropping back. That might hand Salim another point if he can get a move on. That'll be impressive for himself with points in a row. Is Felix close enough this time? Is he still holding back? Meanwhile, Yannick is in P3. However, Toyn is pressuring him for the final. As Dylan now back in the session, so he's just helping himself out, you know, just giving him a bit more work to do. Felix isn't close enough this time round, and you know, I don't think he's got it in his tyres anymore to push on past Marcos. I really don't, because not only has he got to get past the Haas, meanwhile, is that Zeph making a move on Marine? That's Marine going round the outside of Zeph. A very impressive move there from the Alfa Romeo. Zeph, though, holding it round the outside. He's going to break deep, and they're side by side up the hill. That's a really impressive overtake from Zeph to get back up into 7th. And here's Dylan now down the inside of Marine at the penultimate corner. He just about gives him enough room. Is now into the final corner, as Marcos has picked up another time penalty, so it is an out-and-out fight to the end between the top two. Meanwhile, Dylan just got past Marine. Now he's going to get past Zeph. So powering down towards turn number 2. Marine makes a move down the inside of the Haas driver, and Zeph's old tyres really starting to show now. It's a 3-second time penalty for cutting the track. I'm not sure if I'll have to give that position back. Dylan's gone out of the session again, so really struggling tonight is Dylan with his internet, so it's a bit here, there and everywhere. Marine now really close to Zeph. You'd imagine that it'd be an easy move considering the tyres. There we go, there's a lot of weaving about, but Marine swoops down the inside, turns to the outside, which then turns again to the inside, up into P7. Can Zef though try something impressive? I don't think he can. Going to open up this final sector a bit more though, but the tyres really, they're not having any of it anymore. With Dylan out of the session. Hans, I imagine, will push on and go get him. Stalin might even be able to. Meanwhile, Felix has clawed back into DRS range. So he's just at a fastest lap of the race, has Dylan. I'm not entirely sure about that. As there's Zef now getting back past Marine. So that's going to be frustrating Marine quite a lot, because in his tyres I'm pretty sure he has the pace to go up and get Lucas, but he's really being held up here. So Felix now has started to put his foot down, and he's really going for it with just over 2 laps left in this race now. Marcos has now evened the penalties between the two of them. So whoever finishes first on the track will win the race. Obviously, should there not be any more penalties to be added. I don't think Felix is close enough at the moment to make that move. However, if he can use the DRS, get to within about half a second, and then push in, keep the DRS for the back straight, and then again use it onto the main straight on the final lap, could be quite an interesting finish. How much does Felix want to push for this win though? He knows he's the favourite in terms of the championship. Meanwhile, Moran really close to Zef now, who's really slow off the left-hander. Zef's tyre's really old right now, and he's done quite a monster of a stint, if you will, to keep them alive. But I can imagine Moran will be getting through without too many issues. Meanwhile, Hans has got past Dylan. There goes Moran now with the DRS round the outside of turn number 1. He's going to cut to the inside, which gives him the inside line of breaking down into turn number 2. Easy as you like. He's got past. Zef almost pushing him through the corner there. Moran picks up another time penalty, and here we go. They're going to be side by side through the long left-hander. Zef somehow comes back again, but Moran on the inside, not willing to send one to the inside of turn number 5. And it's a very good race between these two, considering the tyre life. I'm really surprised. But here we go. On to the final lap of the race. Is Felix close enough? Does he have enough left in the tank to push on? Marcos is running out of VRS slowly, and that might harm him towards the end of the lap. We're going to stay on board with Felix for the remainder of this lap to see if he can fight his way past Marcos and take the win. I was going to say take the lead. Or take the lead and the win of the race. Both these drivers, 3 seconds worth of time penalties, so it really is. You know, they can't afford to get a time penalty now, because if they do, the race win is out of the window. It's mega close between these two. There's one overtaking opportunity left on the track. And if Felix is this close, he will have a very good shot at doing so. Out of the right hander now, Felix gets a bit of a wiggle on the exit, and that could be it. However, he's close. He's in the slipstream. He's using all the ERS he has left. Does he want to make a move to the inside for the race win? He doesn't. He's not willing to do so. Marcos looks like he's just going to hang on unless Felix can come up with something really special now. The rear tyres are gone on Felix's car as he goes through the final sector now. Marcos has just 2 corners left to navigate before he can call himself the winner of round number 16 of GPRL Season 5. He qualified on pole. He hasn't led every lap, but he fought back brilliantly to retake the lead from Felix. Marcos crosses the line. He's going to win the Russian Grand Prix. An awesome drive from himself. He can be pretty happy with that. And he closes the championship gap with just 2 rounds to go. It's all to play for in GPRL Season 5. Felix really has got to be on his A game in these last two races if he wants to take the title. Meanwhile, here's Yannick. Looks like in his return to McLaren. Obviously, penalties allowed. I'm not sure who's going to get the podium spot here. Meanwhile, Moran and Zeph are still battling. They're side by side. Yet again, Moran has the inside line, but Zeph's going to break later. Moran, though, cuts across in front of him. And Zeph can't quite make it work. Them old tyres really not helping. And meanwhile, Toyn managed to get onto the podium for his first podium GPRL history. Moran covering the inside into the final corner. There's a bit of contact, and Zeph finishes ahead of Moran because of penalties. And what a race between those two. And Dylan finishes 7th after penalties from Zeph and Moran. Hans finishes 10th, scores a few more points, and Salim is going to come home P11, just misses out on points, unfortunately. But what a race. I'm quite out of breath after that last bit. Here's the podium. Marcos back on top. Toyn on the podium. For the first time in his career, I believe. Marcos again. I believe that's his 12th career win. So he can really be happy about that. And here's my contribution award. But here we go. Here's the provisional race results. Bear in mind it is subject to change amid post-race penalties. Marcos another win from pole. Fastest lap though did go to Dylan of 1:33.6. Very, very strong lap time. Felix was second. Toyn third, scoring his first podium. Yannick was 4th from 10th, a very strong drive. Jarno 5th, a good drive considering the circumstances. Lucas scored more points in 6th. Dylan, what could have been. Zeph and Moran had a great battle, and Hans rounded out the points. So, hope you guys have enjoyed the stream today. I certainly have. And I hope you'll be here next week to join us. See you then, guys.